What's up guys, Dave with Fixing for Fun. Today we're going back on the 4R100 transmission rebuild. So let me show you guys what's going on. Alright, so last time we left off, I had everything disassembled and I had to do my job and clean it. So I cheated a little bit. I took the housing down to my engine rebuilder and he ran it through his parts washer. And it was the best 40 bucks I've ever spent. Then, while he was doing that, I spent countless hours disassembling and cleaning and inspecting all these parts. I figured I'd save you guys the boring hours of me standing there at the parts washer. But anyways, we're going to start here. You've got your output shaft. This is the reversing cylinder, and then this is basically all your reversing components. Goes into your forward clutches and overdrive. And that's how it's going to go back together. So the goal today is to get all this stuff put back together and in the case. So let's see how far we get. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the reversing cylinder, followed by the reversing cylinder spring and the retainer. This has a lubrication hole that has to line up in the back. So what we're going to do when we assemble something like this, we're going to put some oil on the outside and the inside seal. Then we're just going to work it very gently, pop it over. Then we're going to put this in. Slide these through the holes to properly orient everything, tighten it down, and then put the holes in. So that's what we're doing. It's going to be tough to see inside there, but you'll get the idea. All we did is just put a little bit of lube in it. So these are 5/16 24 studs. We just found a piece of threaded red, cut it and bought a couple nuts. Now let's set this down so you guys can watch me actually work. So I can't get these studs out. There's quite a bit of pressure on them. So what we're going to do is we're going to double nut one of these studs, tighten it up, and it'll act like a head swing, back them right out. Click, click, just kidding. I got a torque wrench. Okay, does anyone remember how all this assembly goes together? I don't. Okay, just gonna go like this. Alright guys, so full disclosure, where the V is, that hole has a plug that goes in it. I forgot to put it in, so I had to take this end cap off and install it after the fact, but I wanted to give everyone the heads up before they make the same mistake I did. Alright, next is the reversing clutch basket. Now, this is where a book is irreplaceable. This goes in one way only. It's a directional bearing. I don't know if that's the proper name, but it's a one-way bearing. So if you put it in the wrong way, it'll free spin. The basket will freewheel and won't ever tighten up. Where, when it's installed correctly, it'll go free spin one way and lock up in reverse, which is what we want. So we do that. We're going to drop this bad boy in, like so, hopefully. There we go. Then, according to the manual, we're on the pressure plates, and friction plates. So we'll get them dried off, we'll get the other ready, and we'll start dropping them in. So here's how this thing works. So it free spins this way, and this way it does not. So that allows it to free spin normally and lock up and engage reverse. But you can see it spins nicely one way and the other it does not. So we know we have it installed correctly, but that's how a directional bearing works. Okay, so we found all the plates. First thing we're going to do is put the wave plate in. That just drops down in there nicely. Followed by, according to the manual, a steel disc. They say you don't want them soaked, but you don't, a little bit of lube so that nothing's dry when you start it. Then we're going to alternate between friction plates. Okay. Followed by a steel. And same thing, they don't need to be soaked, but I'd rather have fluid on them than none. I don't mind a little bit of a mess. I'm just going to keep alternating as per the manual. Kind of reminds me of a bulldozer steering clutch. I guess it's essentially the same thing. Just a little bit more witchcraft going on inside of the transmission. Well, that was pretty easy. I'm going to put the snap ring in. I'm going to make sure the snap ring's clean. According to the manual, the next thing is, now we got to install the Planetary gear system. So next we got the thrust washer, followed by the Planetary. Since we have a bucket of oil, we're going to put a little bit on everything. Well, that was easy. Followed by the snap rings. Now we're installing the reverse Planetary system. I was having a hard time keeping this, so I can show you on this side. This is just a thrust washer with recesses. So this one's going up, so it doesn't matter. The other one was falling out. I just put 3 dabs of Vaseline on it, so it's on there nice and, so it should stay in there nice and tight while I drop it in. Okay. That is the forward driving clutch pack. She is all assembled, I think. We'll find out. Luckily, this stuff really can't go in the wrong spot too bad. Even the clutch plates and stuff, they're all different, so you really can't, it's very hard to mix them up. I'm sure you can do amazing things if you try, but there's nothing that's, I've been really like, oh wow, this is really terrifying. This is one of those projects anyone can do. If you can pull a transmission and rebuild it, it's just a matter of taking your time and making sure that you're not missing anything. Because if you miss something, you'll have a bad day. But we'll find out. We'll see if I do it right. This assembly is done. I can get it over here and out of the way. Okay, so after the reversing, next thing to go in is the forward. Okay. Now I know it said you don't need this special tool and stuff to do it, but man, am I glad I bought that. That made that almost enjoyable. Now we're going to put the intermittent band assembly in. I don't know what it does, but it's the intermittent band assembly. So that's in. All right, so we got the clutch pack assembly in there, the intermittent clutch pack. Now all that's left is this stuff, but the pile's getting smaller. All right, so next is the center support assembly. The previous one did not have a gasket. This one does. So what we're going to do, I guess this is a common failing point according to ChatGPT anyways. So mine did not have a gasket, but the kit came with one. They say what you do is just basically take a little piece of stone, fine grit stone, just go around, and all we're doing is making sure that there's no burrs on the tips of the holes, because you can almost feel it. Well, you can feel it. Just making sure you got a nice flat surface to seal against. You can do the same with this. It's not going to take much, but you're just taking the high spots off. Then, a little bit of brake clean. You want everything clean. Let that dry out. I looked for the bolt in, that way we're sure it's going to line up. Okay, we'll give it a dab of Loctite. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is replace these seals. Just going to basically push up and unhook it, and it's that simple. There we go. I knew I had seals somewhere, so I just didn't know where. Those look correct. So all that we're doing is basically offsetting them like that and locking them. But since you can't go, because you can't lock them like that because the slot's there, you gotta kind of crush one and go up and over. Okay. And then, what do we need? Oh, we have the new. So I had bought a new seal kit, or bushing kit. Thrust washer kit, there we go. And if I kept talking, it'd come out correct. And that goes in. And this assembly is now complete and ready to go back in. So next is the intermittent override system. I don't know what it does, but it's here. In all of its glory. So there's a seal here that I'm assuming is going to be replaced. And it is. Look at that. And this one as well. These were some of the best money I've ever spent. They're designed for hydraulic gaskets and O-rings and that type of stuff, seals, but they work really well for everything. They got a rounded edge so they don't seem to hurt stuff as bad. And because if you put nicks and gouges in these grooves, then you've got problems. It's a little bit easier sometimes than the pick, although I do have a trusty pick as well. So since the press isn't designed for this, I just started the snap ring in the groove and walked around compressing the spring with a screwdriver. That's what I'm fighting with currently. Now all that's left is the toast clutch. There we go. That feels better. So, I pulled this in now a couple times. I couldn't quite get to see it. I removed everything and I measured. So we're looking for approximately 850 down in. This will just let me know that it's properly seated, which it is. And then we're going to double check. Now we've got to put these in the bottom loosely. Hey, they line up perfect. I'm going to put the snap ring approximately in, because otherwise okay, now we just have the overdrive. Let's see here. There's one, there's two. One, two. Friction, pressure one, and the dimple goes up as per the instructions. Snap ring goes in. Okay, now we just gotta measure that distance. Okay, so we have now laid the transmission on its side. Okay, so you're going to say, Dave, why is the transmission on its side? Because this coast clutch assembly for the overdrive has like a $200-300 expanding assembly tool. This is a budget build. We're not supposed to be spending money on more tools than we have to. So hopefully by laying it down on its side, hopefully, come on, we're almost there. There we go. And by tipping it outside, we saved $300 and some worth of special expanding arbors to assemble that. So, there we go. All right, guys, well, we got all the internal components in, minus the transmission pump. So next video, we're going to be rebuilding the pump, installing it, putting the valve bodies on, tightening up all the few loose ends, and then we're going to be installing it into the truck and seeing if it works or not. We are truly going to find out in the next video if a homeowner can rebuild the transmission in his garage. I sure hope so. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.